What's up? What's up? What's up? I don't know if I'm gonna get anybody because this was very impromptu, but just like Star Trek, I'm full of big surprises. Star Trek has truly surprised me with what they have announced today. And it's like, you asked the question, like, why did y'all announce this today? We got speculation on the why behind that. Um, Big news though. If you are a Trek fan, this is huge news. I'm gonna give it a couple seconds. I never know if I'm gonna get an audience. If I don't get an audience, I'm not gonna sit here and talk to myself. Not today. Not today. But if I do get an audience, I am here to discuss all things Star Trek. Anything y'all want to talk about, as long as it's Star Trek. We can talk about Picard. We can talk about Discovery. We can talk about what we anticipate for Strange New Worlds. Any of those things, long as it's Star Trek, I'm here for it. So we're gonna see um, what we get as far as an audience, and that will determine how long I go on for about this. um, let's see. Let's see. Nope, still nobody. I don't even have my little regulars who love to talk Star Trek. And that's okay. We're gonna talk for a little while. If I don't get anybody in the chat, then I am going to call it an early one. But right now, I think it is imperative that we talk about what we learned today and why we might have learned it. There is always, always we run the risk when you have a show like Star Trek, who, just like Picard did back to back seasons. They already have them recorded. There, you always run the risk of a leak. And the thing is, even if it's not a back to back season, for instance, we saw it happen. What's up, Mr. Brown? We saw it happen with Strange New Worlds, where we ended up seeing a leaked photo of Captain Kirk, Paul Wesley's Captain Kirk, and then Paramount felt like, or the network felt like they had to come out and just confirm, yeah, that's Kirk. We have to tell you that's Kirk. So I guess in this instance, they were trying to get ahead of the leaks because I guess it is almost inevitable that something is going to come out, especially in this day and age where everybody wants to be the first person to announce that something is happening. And I mean, I don't do leaks, but I do speculate a lot, and I like to be on record with my speculation. So I get it, even though I don't get it with leaks. Once you have confirmed, okay, this is true. I really hate the people who, and I don't hate the people, but I hate the act of saying, well, now that I know it's true, I got to tell everybody, because you're taking the wind out of our sails. And I don't like that. But here we are. And I'm saying here we are because we got probably a season in advance. We've learned something big. And I mean, I was super excited. I don't know how the rest of the fandom feels about it, but I was very excited that this is the case. And I'm going to play the trailer. I know that usually I'll get hit with a copyright strike, but they won't take my video down. They'll just give me not a strike. They'll give me a copyright warning, and I'm okay with that. I'll take this hit. It won't be like, Tasha, if you do this two more times, you're off of YouTube. It'll be, Tasha, you will not ever make any money. I don't care if thousands of people watch this. You won't make any money, and I can live with that. So to catch up with those people who have not yet seen what I'm talking about, we're going to go ahead and hit play and see if, even though this box over here is not looking the right size, something ain't right about that. Let's see if it shows up the way it's supposed to. Nope, I'm not seeing nothing. Okay, so stop sharing and we'll share. And if it won't let me play, so be it, so be it. We'll just talk about it. But I do want you guys to see what I'm talking about. Like, now I see it. There it is. Okay, let's make it big and let's hit the play button and see what everybody else thinks.
I am not a man who needs a legacy.
I think back on those days on the Enterprise and all that danger we rushed into.
Those were the days.
Evolution is not an act of preservation, it's addition.
It is clear sacrifice is required again.
Jean-Luc, when the galaxy comes calling, you love it.
Aren't we a little overdue for a good old-fashioned road trip?
I promise you will not be alone.
Ready as ever.
So, what are we feeling? How do we feel about this development, huh? This is one heck of a development that we've got here. Um, we are learning. If you didn't just understand what we just saw, we heard the voices of all of our legacy TNG characters, and they are promised to show up in season 3, which is the final season of Star Trek Picard. I'm super duper excited about this. This is something that a lot of us had been asking for, and many people were upset that we hadn't seen some of the more familiar characters from the past, especially surrounding the characters from the past that surround Jean-Luc Picard. We hadn't been seeing them in this season or either season of Picard, to be honest, and people were upset. Clarence said he was all smiles. Yeah. Clarence is who brought it to my attention. I wasn't on the computer earlier, and I saw Clarence posted this trailer in the Discord and couldn't contain his excitement. And I'm like, oh shoot, what is this? So I hit play and I couldn't contain my excitement. Now I actually, I'm a softie. As tough as I try to be, I'm a softie. I actually had tears in my eyes when I heard the voices come through. Um, and then I spoke with Reinhardt over on Twitter. Now, Reinhardt had a take, and I say these things, Mr. Reinhardt, sometimes he will point out the most uh, kind of negative that people will come up with. So I'm going to read what his thoughts were from Twitter, because he sent this to me on Twitter. He said, I said this earlier. I've never had a trailer that almost made me cry and then pissed me off. So as I'm reading this, I'm clutching my pearls like, how, what, huh? What would piss you off about this? And he said, I love that we're getting the gang back together, but come on, people, give Wesley Crusher some love. He also said, I said, I believe we might see him. And he says, if not, my heart will be hurt because I know I'm going to cry the first time they're all on screen together. It's just going to happen. So, yeah, I'm not the only person who had tears in my eyes, tears of joy. But I mean, Reinhardt, his tears were, we're missing Wesley Crusher. And if you don't remember, one of the Easter eggs that was laid in, oh gosh, what episode was it? If somebody remembers, I know it's only two of us here, so hell. But I'm trying to remember what episode it was that laid an Easter egg out that pointed back to Wesley Crusher. In fact, it was Rios as he was holding up the sign from his mugshot. The date, his mugshot had a date, 3/28/94, I believe it was. Right, Clarence. It only stands to reason. And the fact that they didn't put his voice in this trailer makes me feel like his part is going to be kind of big. And that one scene that I was talking about with Rios holding up the ID card for his mugshot, the date that was on that mugshot corresponded with an episode, the last episode that we saw Wesley Crusher in, which would have been, what's the name of it? Gosh, I can't think of the name of the episode. It was the one where the people were kind of like Native American. Let me just look it up. How about that? Got to look it up so that you guys will know what I'm talking about. Oh gosh, I cannot remember the name of it. Let's see. Change the format. Because I had this all figured out when I was doing shows about it. It's the one when he reconnected with the traveler. Yeah. Yeah, Clarence, I'm just trying to remember what the name of that episode was. So if somebody wanted to go back and watch it, that they would be I'm pointing them in the right direction. It is the one with the traveler, and it is the one with the last one that we saw Wesley Sniper. Wesley Crusher in. So Clarence said is the one where he reconnected with the traveler, and he said that Wesley could potentially have one of the more interesting storylines. I agree, because it was kind of they wrote him when he left the series in that one episode. Yeah, Wesley Sniper. He was supposed to be Geordie LaForge. That was one of the people who was one of the final people who was in line to play Geordie LaForge. And gosh, how different would that character of Geordie have been if we would have gotten Wesley Snipes instead of LeVar Burton? I'm happy we got LeVar Burton, by the way. Not saying that I don't think Wesley Snipes would have done a great job, but now that we know LeVar Burton in the role of Geordie LaForge, I can't picture anybody else playing him, not another single soul. So yeah, but it was Cause and Effect. That is the name of the episode. Let's go over here and give you the quick, brief synopsis. This one is about set in the 24th century. Let me see. The Enterprise is caught in a time loop, which results in the destruction of the ship and the loss of all hands after a collision. Wait a minute. That's the wrong episode. But dang, that would be a good episode to tie it back to. I can't think of the name of this episode. I'm sorry. And because I'm struggling with my vision over here. I got on reading glasses and I can't see. So I can't see because I don't have my contacts. All I got is these reading glasses, and they magnify things a bit, but they don't make it to where I can freaking see. Angus had given me an idea to use the magnetizer in Windows, and I might have to do that because I cannot. Um, yeah, but Wesley Sniper, Wesley Crusher is rumored. We don't know this yet, but it only makes sense if you're bringing back everybody else. You've already had this episode that kind of points to Wesley Crusher, and it was a pivotal appearance of Wesley. It wasn't just some random uh, reference. This was an episode that was truly surrounding Wesley Crusher. Wesley Crusher was central to this episode, and we found out what happened to him after he grew up and left the Enterprise. He had a choice to make, and he made it at the detriment of maybe never seeing the people who raised him again. I think it's very safe to say that because Will Wheaton is still so heavily involved in the Star Trek family, that we will also see him next season. That's just some speculation coming from Tosh. This is nothing that I have I don't have any way to substantiate what I'm saying. It's just this is a good guess. It's an educated guess. A Star Trek educated guess. Let me see. Rio's mugshot. Make sure I'm putting the right date. Picard. Let's see. DS9s. I still don't see it. I really hate that storyline. And I'm not going to talk about it too much because I did guest host on Discussing Trek again this week, and there were some good points made, and I'm not trying to take away from those points. I want you to make sure I'm going to be posting, of course, those the episodes that I was part of. I always post them in our Discord. I'll be posting it up on our Facebook and our Twitter as well, so that you'll get a gist of that conversation and some of the points that were made, because there were some good points brought up. And also, thank you again, Mr. Brown, for having me. Yeah, but we had a heck of a conversation. Some things that you know that may happen, some things that may not. Our best guesses about where this thing is going with Picard this season. But if we are to see, or if we are to take at face value the fact that Jean-Luc Picard has to get, for season 3, has to get the gang back together, so to speak. If we are to believe that that is one of the possibilities, or that is a definite that's going to happen next season, I want to go out on a limb and say that we don't resolve what we need to resolve this season. Should I? And I'm wondering if I'm looking at that wrong. Okay, so Star Trek, so Jean-Luc Picard is now in the past, and he's trying to fix the divergence of the timeline, and that means getting his great aunt, who, by the way, is about probably at least 50 years younger than Jean-Luc Picard. So he needs to get his great aunt or cousin or whoever she is to get on the Europa mission. Ooh, that's something to think about. So Picard is trying to get them on the or get his niece or daughter or whoever she is on the Europa mission, and let's say that he succeeds, because he kind of, does he have to succeed for him to end up in a timeline where all of his old friends remember that they had these adventures together and they were always going into danger, because that's something that we heard Jordy say. We were always heading headlong into danger without giving it a second thought. Well, if that's the case, then the timeline must have been restored, right? So does that mean the timeline is restored and we have a whole new storyline, or is season 3 going to be in some way connected to season 2, where the storylines kind of bleed? Clarence is saying it may definitely spell the end of Girardi, because we got some ideas. And the thing is, the Girardi idea is not something that we came up with. Uh, yeah, it's not something that that is only us speculating about. If you know what I mean, the entire fandom is sitting on one side or the other of this Girardi issue. And the Girardi issue is she the Borg Queen that we saw at the beginning of this series in episode 1, the one that was covered from head to toe in this black hooded outfit or masked outfit? Is that Borg Queen Girardi? And that this other Borg Queen is just another Borg Queen? um, People are sitting on one side or the other of that kind of argument. I think I'm leaning more towards that the Girardi that we saw in episode 1 of Star Trek Picard is Girardi, or it's at least somebody that we will recognize, and that's why she had on the mask. Not so much the audience. We're going to recognize her if Jean-Luc Picard recognizes her. So she's covered so that she is not recognized by Jean-Luc Picard when she comes on the bridge. If we remember her behavior on the bridge, it wasn't typical Borg behavior. She got on the bridge and she began to assimilate the ship. She didn't attempt to assimilate any of the people on the ship, and she didn't she didn't try to assimilate any of the people, and she didn't do anything to hurt them. Everything that she did was kind of defensive minded, where she was just shooting not to kill, she was stunning people. And what Borg Queen do we know that will do that? They sent her on to Rios's ship, the Stargazer, as an emissary or an ambassador. But is she fully Borg? Is she like somewhere in the middle? We have like a gray area all of a sudden of, is a Borg really their only mindset is to assimilate, and add that knowledge and technology to the collective? Or are we at a point where we got a Borg Queen in Girardi who is looking to help? Or let me pick up Reinhardt, because hey there, Reinhardt. Oh, you said you glad you looked up. You was about ready to go to bed. Oh, but don't be staying up. We gonna talk for a little while. Don't be staying up if you know you got to work or something. Shucks. But yeah, I'm wondering who is the bad guy here and who's here to help. Did Q send Picard back to the past to help or to hurt? And is this Borg Queen who showed up on the bridge of the Stargazer, is she there to help or to hurt? Those are questions that are going through my mind. And so Clarence's thoughts was that it might be definitely spell the end of Girardi, at least as a good guy. And I'm just wondering, will she be an anti-hero? Who was the anti-hero? It's either Q or the Borg Queen. The Borg Queen seems like she is the only person in the whole wide world who wants to be on that flipping ship. I got. Let me see. Yeah, Reinhardt, I read your commentary, and we were talking. Yeah, it's almost obvious to us now. Of course, this is speculation. This is just what Tasha thinks, and maybe a few other people think this as well, to include Clarence. I think Clarence is on Team Tasha about the fact that we are going to probably see Wesley, and I want to keep saying Wesley Sniper, Wesley Crusher. We're probably going to see Wesley Crusher in season 3, and one of the things that makes me feel like that is that mugshot of Rios, where he was holding the sign, the date on the sign for his mugshot corresponds with the uh the episode. Gosh, I just told y'all the name of the episode. I forgot already. But it does correspond with the final episode that we saw Wesley Crusher in. So, with that little Easter egg laid, and it points back to Wesley. And we got the news that everybody else is coming back. I find it hard to believe that they wouldn't bring Wesley back as well. Gosh, I can't remember what I just said. Hell. You gotta excuse me. I'm looking it back up again. Shucks. Um, Reinhardt says, I never even thought about that possibility. But now, when the Borg Queen came aboard in episode 1, when she said Picard's name before the ship exploded, there was a familiarity with him. Yeah. And further, and this is something, okay, I guess we could talk about this part because I am pointing everybody to that episode that of discussing Trek that will be coming to a podcast server near you soon. But we could talk about this part, I think. Um, that, gosh, what the heck was I about to say? You said the ship exploded. There was a familiarity. Oh, and the fact that why did we even need Picard to be there? If the full intent of the Borg Queen was to just assimilate the ship, why call for Jean-Luc Picard's arrival, wait for him to arrive, and then jump on the ship and start doing this? Was it so that this entire core group of people that they needed in this alternate timeline would be there because she called Picard there? There was no other way he was going to be on the ship. She called him there, he got there, and then the action jumps off. There's no other reason for him to be on that ship except for this purpose to go back in the past. That doesn't mean that Q didn't have a plan for it as well. That's altogether possible too. But it just seemed weird that the Borg Queen or this Borg ship would pull up to the Stargazer and be like, "Hey, we want to talk to Picard and only Picard. We want to be part of the Federation." It's automatic in our minds that Borg bad. Q Q is not bad. He's mischievous. You know, it is this a situation where the Borg are good, and will that open up the door to tell more stories, broader stories in the future? Um, is Picard setting the stage basically for the entire rest of the franchise moving forward. I'm looking forward to seeing how that goes. Because if we change the fate of the Borg or we change the way that they behave, we can bring them into Discovery. We can bring them into any other show because now we've established a template where they're kind of anti-heroes. You guys let me know what you think. And if there's anything else, I got to look for, I cannot find, and I don't know how. Well, put it like this. It's really easy for me to get distracted. So hopefully I find what I'm looking for because I just had it seconds ago and now I've forgotten again what it was. And I don't see. I don't see the one picture that I'm looking for. I'm pretty sure I had it. Oh, I think I know where it is. I think I know where I can find it. I'm gonna look in the encyclopedic stuff from Picard, from Trek Core. Trek Core has a lot of pictures, in Trek Core. And if I'm looking for a picture, that's usually where I'll find it. Now, was it in the episode Watcher? Let's go back and look because I sure the heck don't remember. Which, by the way, that episode Watcher, freaking fantastic. This episode wasn't bad, but I think Watcher right now, besides the first episode and where we started with Picard, I think Watcher might have been my favorite episode after that. Even though it really was fillery to me, it asked a lot of questions or left a lot of questions unanswered where we could just now we didn't get any answers, but we got a lot of subtext. And then boom, Fly Me to the Moon just gives you all the freaking answers. Thank you, Clarence, because I just cannot remember. It was Journey's End. That's the name of the episode. I'm so glad you looked because I was not gonna find it. I got the biggest brain fog. But yeah, that's the episode that I was talking about, where Wesley and the Traveler link back up, and then they go off on their own adventures. I think we're going to see Wesley. They would not have referenced back to it, and that had to be intentional. That could not have been an accident, right? Could it have been an accident? I don't think that was an accident. Everything is an intention. That's the way I'm going to move about, especially when I'm looking at Easter eggs. Everything is intentional. Gosh, what's wrong with me? I'm not high or nothing. I promise you I'm not. Clarence says they're trying to relocate a Native American settlement and Wesley wasn't having it. Yeah, Wesley was like, this is not right. And I'm really surprised that Picard wasn't more incensed about this. He said he left Starfleet to go with the Traveler. Yep. So now Wesley gone. He done left Starfleet to go with the Traveler. There was no reason to ever reference this episode again unless it was going to mean something. I feel like it's going to mean something. So here we are. We might be getting Wesley. Everybody was so up in arms and upset because even last week when we saw the episode Fly Me to the Moon and that one doctor that was sitting next to the character played by Lee Thompson, the doctor sitting next to her had the last name Rozhenko. And we even made a comment about it. Hey, that's Worf's last name. That might have been a nod to Worf. They wouldn't have put this many Easter eggs in if they did not have any intention of of maximizing on those the hype around those characters, to include looking at the passport as we talked. Nope, I'm not. I'm gonna leave that with that little Easter egg. I'm gonna leave it for Clarence's show. If you guys want to know some of the other Easter eggs and some other theories and thoughts about Star Trek Picard, go and listen. I mean, not right now. I don't know if it's up right now, and I don't want to send you over there just yet. But I will be posting discussing Trek, that the episode that I guested on, the most recent one. I will be posting it on Twitter, on Facebook, and on our Discord. And if you are not on our Discord, why the hell not? I'm gonna go ahead and put the link in the chat, so that if you are not part of our Discord and you want to get down with the speculation that we be putting forth in there, because yeah, it don't stop. You thought it stopped when the live streams ended? Puh, we can do this all day and all night, because that's what kind of Trekkies we are. Reinhardt said, I'm having this exact same conversation in my Star Trek fan groups. And he also said, I mean, three Star Trek Facebook groups, one for Discovery, one for Picard, and one for Strange New Worlds. Well, yep. Well, over here, you're going to get a big freaking cacophony of Star Trek, because we're going to talk about the old stuff. We're going to talk about the new stuff. And we're going to talk about everything in between. My Star Trek Discord is a lot like the way my mind goes, which is just all over the place all the time. But this is, this is fun. This is big fun. And it was just such a shocking surprise. I just didn't think that if we were going to get these legacy characters, I didn't think that we would find out about it until the time, where they show up. We get this knowledge way ahead of time. I wonder when they're gonna do the next season of Picard. Like, it's already shot, which means it's probably in post-production, where they've got, they're doing the CG and special effects and that sort of thing, editing and putting it together. I wonder when we could expect to see the finished product. I'm hoping that we don't have to wait a full year. I know that that's how things usually go. But look, if we can get, okay, so we know that we've got more. We know we got Strange New Worlds coming May 5th. After Strange New Worlds, we know we are getting more of Star Trek Prodigy, which I'm very much looking forward to those final 10 episodes of this first season of Star Trek Prodigy. And then we'll probably get Lower Decks, right? After Lower Decks, there's a window, and we could be getting Discovery right after Lower Decks, per usual. Or will we get the next season of Picard, since it's already completed? And that would mean that we won't have to wait so long to see our faves. Not, I'm not shitting on Discovery. I love Discovery, and y'all know it's just Star Trek Picard this season especially is like a clinic of good writing. It's like excellent storytelling. And even when I have things that I'm not completely on board with, it's not the story. It might be a storyline. It might be the motivations of a character, but it is not the entire story. This story is crafted so well, because all we can think about, to say it the way Clarence's co-host Jonathan puts it, so shout out to Jonathan, is that when that episode goes off, does it leave you wanting more? does it leave you in a position where you are wondering, okay, how does this get resolved? I'm so excited until the next. If I'm finding myself feeling that way about every single episode. Now, there are episodes of Discovery from last season, this past season, that I didn't feel that strongly about. It just went off, and I was like, oh, okay. And then we know I've got a standing date with Discovery next week, but am I super excited? Am I going to put on my best dress for this date with Discovery? Probably not. But with Picard, I'm putting on my best, baby. Trying to make sure I'm there with bells on, because the writing has been, I would say, substantially better than last year. Even though I did like last year, I liked it. This season, I'm loving of Picard, and this new showrunner may be part of it. I don't know how many people have watched 12 Monkeys. I have not, but I heard that it is timey-wimey and that you might need a couple times of watching each episode to to get the full understanding. And I'm feeling that way a little bit about Picard. I've watched most of these episodes multiple times. The other day, was it yesterday or the day before, I watched all 5 episodes again, one after the other. And there were things that kind of stood out. And I'm gonna have to do it again. This is like I have to keep, I gotta keep watching. I cannot not watch. So if I had to go on record today and say what my thoughts were, or how, which way I'm leaning as far as our speculation, treculation, as I like to call it, as far as this treculation goes, how I'm leaning. I've already told you how I felt about Girardi. I feel like we will find out that she was the Borg Queen that we saw in episode 1. My feelings on Q is that Q might be playing a an anti-hero in one timeline, but a villain in another. Maybe I'm trying to completely cultivate that theory. Let me see what Reinhardt has to say here. Reinhardt said, I love Star Trek Picard so far this season. I love every episode. That being said, on Star Trek Picard, they did use a lot of plot armor on a few episodes. I would like for you to expound, because there were issues as far as, I don't know if I would call it plot armor. I looked at it as a disappointing storyline, and there was only one for me. Now, if you tell me what you mean, Reinhardt, I might be able to think about it in that way, shape, or form, in the same way that you're meaning, because I'm not 100% sure that I'm getting the gist of what you're saying. Um, what I do like is that without being heavy-handed, we're getting explanations for a lot of things throughout the franchise, not just where we've seen Jean-Luc Picard. You know, we've seen Jean-Luc Picard in TNG. We saw him in one episode of Deep Space Nine, and then we have the movies, right? And now we have Picard. He's answering questions that span the entire franchise in this season of Picard, and I like that. And it's not being done in a way where it feels like, hey, we're trying to tell you something important. You guys listen to see, look, this is important. If you know, then you know. What's understood does not have to be truly explained, and that is what I like about this season of Picard. You know what? They make this drop, they say they thing, and what's understood doesn't have to be explained. If you understand why they said this line, and it seemed real throwaway in the moment, But if you understand why they said this line, then you know that then you're in the know. If you don't understand why they said this line, you're in for a heck of a ride. Why am I being texted like this? Nobody texts me like this. Why? Why are you doing that? Why? I need to cut you off. I don't get text messages like this. I rarely turn my phone off when I'm doing shows because nobody will text me like that. Like nobody's. We're gonna put this thing on vibrate. That was kind of crazy. Wow. But anywho, if you guys remember, and Reinhardt, I'm awaiting some type of answer. Oh, and I need you. Oh, and I need you, sir, Reinhardt. Um, when you do your responses, because you're doing it in the weekly wrap up, put that stuff over there in the Star Trek conversation to get people talking. And we did get trailers galore. Yes, we did this week. I see this in the Discord. And oh, you're comfortable now? You're comfortable now. Okay. Well, yeah, I see it in the Discord. I'm going to I want to move it over to where people I want to move that over to where people can see it in our Star Trek discussion. Oh no, maybe somebody will click on it because I didn't know that was going to happen. Okay, so yeah, there's a lot going on this week, and as far as what we've seen with Strange New Worlds, I'm not nothing but excited for this, especially knowing okay they may address situations. There may be an arc that spans the entire season, but it's not the glue that holds this season together. I still hope that we're going to see anthologies where people where things are happening and it's not where I have to watch this in its entirety to understand what's going on. I am going to watch it in its entirety, but I don't want it to be, especially since it is going back to the beginning and picking up some of Pike's adventures, that it has to be where you have watched the entire franchise of Star Trek to understand what's going on in Strange New Worlds. I think this should be a jumping off point for newer Trekkies, people who are new to the franchise who want to get involved, who have gotten sick and tired of hearing about how bad new Trek is. This Trek is not bad. You get what I'm saying? Let me look and see what Clarence and Reinhardt had to say. You know what? People talk junk, and I like hearing it, but I ain't gonna bust a grape, Clarence. I just listen to what people got to say, and it did tickle me. Oh gosh. Uh Reinhardt says, yeah, I say it again. I know we are a lot of us were wondering when we are going to get a look at Strange New Worlds, when we're going to get a look at boy, they started dropping trailers every 10 seconds. Yeah, we got a lot of trailers. And again, if it's something that you guys know will be of particular interest to me, I know that I'm the one that's probably sitting on my butt at home all day, but I really don't have the TV going all day. So if you see something, put it in the Discord. I am looking forward to seeing. So Clarence has hooked me up pretty much for the week with the trailers. Well, he started me off with the crew trailers that we were getting for Strange New Worlds, and then he dropped the big one, the actual main trailer, which that kind of tugs at my heart a bit too. We'll get to that in a second. Don't let me forget. And also this one today, Clarence was like, yeah, Clarence was the one who put that in the Discord. If you see something that I miss and I don't put it in the Discord, that means I probably didn't see it. And if I will see it, I would love for you guys to add it to the collective to assimilate that information. Assimilate. Now I see another comment. And Reinhardt said, and I'm here for it. Give me some more track. Yes. Give it to me, what you say. Give it to me, what you say. Yeah, this was really, really some good news today. I've been thinking about it ever since. And also the Strange New Worlds trailer. That's what I was gonna say. You know what? Because again, I've already played one of these trailers on here. I know that 9 times out of 10, if I play the next trailer, they're gonna hit me with the copyright where they'll just snatch my, they'll say if this video makes any revenue, that we'll snatch the revenue out from up under it, and I don't particularly care. I'm going to play this Strange New Worlds trailer, and then we're going to talk about it for a little second. We don't have to, just want to hear your thoughts and see if you feel the same way that I feel looking at this. It makes me hope for something that I probably shouldn't hope for, because it will take away the meaning behind what happens later in the season, I guess. Let's see. Let me see if I can. Let me see. I don't know. Oh, I know what I can do. Give me a second, y'all. I'm trying to get my life together right here. Trying to get my life together. I can't never spell. Okay, so here we are. Gosh, I hate that I know y'all sick of hearing about how I can't see. It's so frustrating for me though. It is. It's very frustrating for me. And it just gets on my nerves. And what you say, Clarence, here? Yeah, Strange New World seems super character focused, and he says he's loving it, and I am too, because that's what Picard. We're getting development and interaction, but that's what I was missing with Discovery. I was missing the fact that these characters that we see every week, we kind of don't have a clue about their personality and what that could possibly, what they bring to Discovery. We're getting it little trickle by trickle, and Clarence made the statement some time ago that these trailers that they're doing for Strange New Worlds and their character development, Discovery could probably use something like that to reintroduce us to some characters that we should already know. Yeah, Clarence says, not like Disco, where we barely know the bridge crew. And I am in a complete agreement. Reinhardt said, "You're right, Clarence. I love Discovery, but I really wanted to get to know their bridge crew, and it seems like right out the gate, we know more about this bridge crew than in 4 seasons of Discovery." That's the truth. As hard as it, as much as I might love the show Discovery, they have dropped the ball in that arena. They've dropped the ball because we should know who these people are, what they're capable of. It should not come as a surprise to us that, that these characters have the traits that they display, but we don't find out that they have these traits until we need the trait. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, you can do this, but we only find out that you can do it when we need you to do it. And that's not fair. Okay, I'm about to hit play on our Strange New Worlds trailer, and then you might know what I'm talking about, or you might agree with what I'm talking about as far as what breaks my heart.
Hi. Sorry to interrupt. This is your captain? Our mission. To chart the stars. Push the boundaries of what is known. And what is possible.
I'm standing on the surface of a comet.
I love this job.
These people, this crew, I believe we can do anything.
You want to seek out new life? Go where the aliens are.
Your presence is blasphemy.
Let's talk about this. Find some coffee.
I think that went well. Perhaps we should kiss.
That seems logical.
Maybe we don't touch anything else. Just a suggestion.
The whole future hangs in the balance.
No one can know the future. One can only follow one's instincts.
You're the best of Starfleet.
Our ability to work together, that's our greatest strength.
Let's show them what you got.
And I think what I was talking about might not have even been in this trailer. It might have been in the trailer that was talking just about Pike. And I'm not about to play no more of these folks' trailers because they already gonna do me in. But it's where we see Pike reminiscing or remembering that what his fate is. And I'm wondering if because he knows his fate, and yeah, I'm a little bit jealous about that, Clarence. Look, it's been about 7. Has it been 7? It's been about 6 years for some Ponfar over here with me, right? So look, we just seen Spock go through the Ponfar twice, and okay, if he went through the Ponfar once, and he was on Vulcan, and T'Pring was there, why didn't they? Why didn't they do that there? So now look, at the end of Ponfar, I can't explain how many times we got to see, or how many times we should have seen Spock go through Ponfar. I guess he would have gone through it while he was under Pike as well. I think they should have left Ponfar alone. Do you think so? Or is it just me? Should they have left Ponfar alone? Because in the original series, when he went through Ponfar, he let me see now. He was supposed to marry old girl, right? and she wanted to marry somebody else, and she had her little logic for why she was doing things the way she was doing them. So if he had already gone through Ponfar with T'Pring, shouldn't they have already been married? Um, Reinhardt says, yeah, the one you're talking about is where he's looking down at the display and he sees the reflection of himself after he's injured. Right. Yeah, and that scene on Disco hit Clarence really hard on Pike's fate. Yeah, so he knows his fate. Can he change his fate? And if Strange New Worlds changes his fate, does that irreparably damage canon? So not changing it, like, yeah, it would have to be a complete change. And the fact that we know what happens to him and that he knows what happens to him, could it change? And should it? Because they're just because you can, which they can do whatever they want, as long as they put the pen to the paper and write the story, you can make it end however you like. But should they change canon and change the fate of Pike? Because if not, then how many seasons of this show could we potentially have? At some point, we're going to run into where he's supposed to get injured, and then, then what? Or do we think that knowing that James T. Kirk is going to show up in season 2 of Strange New Worlds, because we know that, will that mean that season 2 moving forward is still Strange New Worlds? So they're still telling stories about this Enterprise mission, but it will be James Kirk, and maybe we see Pike in his admiral capacity. Let me know what y'all think about that. Reinhardt said, I am so there for them bringing T'Pring back. Amok Time is my second favorite Star Trek episodes. Many years ago, I had a chance to meet Arlene Martell, the actress who originally played T'Pring. Yeah. Oh, okay. I see the Clarence says, I don't think he can change his fate. Ultimately, he lives happily with Vina, and they've already cast Kirk. Right. So we've got Paul Wesley, who cuts a very fine Kirk, if you ask me now. Wasn't 100%. Hey there, David. Welcome to the show. Yeah, things is crazy over here, but it's okay. Yeah, that what's his name? Paul Wesley. Yeah. He makes a fine Kirk. And the fact that we need Kirk means that we're going to be moving into the Kirk. Hopefully, this is what it means, that we're going to be moving into the Kirk era of Star Trek. And if we're entering that Kirk era of Star Trek, is it okay? Now we got Captain Pike is now Admiral Pike, and we follow him in that capacity for a little while, or does Pike just disappear until we need him for the Menagerie episode? Yeah, it was. They've already got their Kirk though, and yeah, I like. I just like Pike. I like Anson Mount, and I don't want it to have to end the way that it's gonna end. We know how it's gonna end. We know how it's gonna end. Now, Reinhardt was talking about Arlene Martell, our actress who originally played T'Pring. He said he met her and she was so sweet and kind. She passed away about 6 years ago, so he's thrilled to see them bring back that character, which she originated. You said you hope we see the first Doctor too. Who was that Doctor? Who was the first Doctor of the of on the pilot episode? Phil Boyce. Phil Boyce was played by John Hoyt. Dr. Phil Boyce, Spock, and Captain Pike are the only characters shown in the first pilot episode, The Cage, to have an alternate reality counterpart. Yeah, Reinhardt, you said Paul Wesley is off the chain. Love that dude. And he makes an awesome looking Kirk. I think he's a fine looking young man. In that, hopefully, hopefully people give him a chance and let him bring what he has to the character. Reinhardt says also, you're not going to see any of the people who were in the cage other than Spock and number one, and we already saw Vina. I'm Clarence. I'm just sad. It's kind of awesome that we can live that journey fate with Pike. I like the idea that it was he chose the fate. He chose to do what needed to be done, and now here he is. He knows that he's gonna have to live with the repercussions of the decision that he made in Disco. I love putting the choice in his hands. I just don't want to see, how it goes down. I just, oh gosh, and there's no fixing him. Like we're in a time period where so much is possible, but this is impossible. It's just, oh, it's so heartbreaking to me. Reinhardt says there was a there was a thing about the producers we're talking about that the cage already happened, and that's why the crew looks so different from the crew you saw in the cage. So that doctor is already moved on. I don't know if I'm understanding. There's a thing that the producers were talking about that the cage already happened. So, okay, you're saying that the pilot episode, everything that we're seeing in this Strange New World series happens long after the pilot episode of Star Trek. If let me know if I'm understanding. David said, "What species are in Strange New World?" Man, we are seeing, um, of course, a lot of humanity. We know we're going to see a lot of humans. We are seeing not an Andorian, but an Anar, the blind Andorian kind of relative, the descendants. You know what I'm talking about. Gosh, I just Clarence says he heard through the grapevine that Paul was super annoying on Vampire Diaries, but they wrote him that way. Yeah, because that's something I never watched. I wouldn't even be able to. I'm just, because the only thing I got about Paul Wesley, and let me look up a little bit more about this guy. The only thing I know about him is that he's fine. I don't know any work that he's done. He's 39 years old, so I should know something. Let me see. Let me see what kind of work he did. Besides the Vampire Diaries, I got to have known him. He's a good looking young man, though. Um, is that it? Fallen. Okay, so he was in Wolf Lake, playing the role of Luke Cates. He was in the Russell Girl. Don't know that. Family member, ABC Family miniseries, Fallen. Nope. Number of roles in 24. I watched that for a little bit, but I don't remember this guy. 8 Simple Rules, American Dreams, Army Wives, Kane, Everwood, Guiding Light, Smallville, The OC. That's his early stuff. Now let's see. I can't see. I'm sorry. This is, they said he played in The Late Bloomer, Shot in the Heart. None of this. I know none of his work. He's been directing and doing theater. Yeah, so at the end of it all, I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know anything about this guy. Yeah, all I can go by is that he looks good enough. Paul Wasilewski, that's his name. Changed it to Paul Wesley for easiness. So Clarence says this is post-Cage Disco season 2. Yeah. Reinhardt is saying that I got it right. Okay, I got your understand. I understood. I was picking up what y'all was putting down. He said the Isle of Paul Wesley. He was in a show called The Fallen, where you played half human, half angel. His character, Stefan on Vampire Diary, was incredibly handsome, broody, and tortured. I mean, Robert Pattinson in what you call it, Twilight. I didn't watch those either, so I just know what I heard. That yep, they find these insanely handsome guys to play these unattainable, and I'm glad I started saying that. I know I cut myself off, and I do this often. When something comes to my mind, I got to say it. There are some people out there who are upset that Spock is getting some, or at least it appears that he's going to get some, right? So I'm like, why would you be mad? Now, I would rather see that than to see him actually go back to Vulcan and be part of the Pon farr, because it asks too many questions. If he's already went back home to Vulcan and was part of this Pon farr ceremony and had to fight, to for the right to get it on with the woman who was betrothed to him. How many times you got to do that? He shouldn't have to do it twice. He should already be married like Tuvok, and every 7 years you go home and beat them cheeks, right? So why? I think it's out of order, the fact that he's going through the Pon farr with T'Pring, if that is T'Pring. I'd rather see him much like T'Pol in Enterprise, just have a romantic relationship with whomever. It doesn't have to be tied to the Pon farr. Reinhardt said, yes, the same exact character is Robert Pattinson. Yeah, they all vampires. And if you're doing anything, in fact, to do with a bat, so if you are a vampire who turns into a bat, or if you are a man who dresses like a bat, you have to be broody. You have to be handsome. Being rich helps. Yeah. Clarence said maybe they're watching another ceremony. I mean, that's possible, but wasn't he fighting? Didn't Spock have the yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna have to look at it myself, Clarence, as far as like a frame by frame analysis of it. I thought Spock had the thing in his hand, the whatever that thing, that tool, that the weapon that they use when they're doing the Pon farr ceremony. I need to find, but it's some people who are really like. I'm gonna hit mute on this because if I can find the mute button, yeah, there are a lot of people who were upset that he was, and I'm like, why are we that mad? I would prefer they not do it because I can agree that part of because Spock is sexy. I mean, I'm talking we can go all the way back to Leonard Nimoy. Spock is sexy, and the repression, the fact that you cannot seduce him makes him that much more sexy. The fact that he is above all of these surface feelings, and it makes you want to try to bring it out of him, and then the more that he doesn't respond, the sexier he becomes. I don't know, maybe it's just me. I'm looking at it again just to see if I can see if he was actually doing the fighting in that scene that we saw on Vulcan. Man, and people are also upset about Spock's about his sideburns. And I'm like, why are we mad about some sideburns? Are y'all for real? Y'all really mad that this man got the little it looked like, they were cut at a point, at an angle. Clarence says, Pike wins the coolest captain award hands down. He seems like he was born for it. Anson Mount has a great Twitter post you should look up. I'm gonna have to see it because I follow him on Twitter. I don't remember seeing what he said. Reinhardt said they've established on Star Trek Enterprise that they must mate every 7 years, but they also said in that episode with T'Pol that they can mate anytime they want to. Again, this is fans just reading way too deeply into that whole mating cycle thing. Clara said his girlfriend calls him Hot Spock. I mean, I thought all of the Spocks were hot. So the Spock, I liked Leonard Nimoy. I was I thought he was extremely sexy, even as a young girl. And I'm talking like when I got old enough to be like, wait a minute, I kind of like him. So that was Leonard Nimoy. Zachary Quinto, to me, super fine. But yeah, as far as like what your girlfriend said, Clarence, she's got it nailed. He is the most visually appealing Spock. But to me, nothing beats the original. I would date Spock, not Leonard Nimoy, silly Spock. I would date the original Spock because that standoffish nature. I just love men who have that level of they're not slaves to their penis, their private parts. Y'all know what I'm saying. They got other things to talk about and to offer and to, so yeah, I kind of like the standoff nature of Spock. Not Tuvok so much though. Isn't that kind of crazy? Like Tuvok was a different kind of Vulcan. They were the same type, they're both Vulcans, but it was something about Tuvok that even him, he didn't spark anything that would make you say, and I guess because there were only few episodes of a character trying to seduce Tuvok, where we've seen several episodes of a character trying to seduce Spock. And just the fact that he just is so stoic about it, I don't know, it just does something. It's just sexy. It's sexy. Everybody got their own thing. Star Trek is my thing. Clara said, yeah, hottest Spock. Now that I can agree with 100%. and 50%, he is the hottest. This one with the little sideburns and yeah, I agree with her, Clarence. Give her that high five. Hottest Spock, because the original Spock, y'all can't. Ooh. But anywho, and I was never big on the James Kirk. Of course, I like Kirk. He's the captain of the ship, but Shatner's, and even as a young girl, I can remember being this way. Shatner's overacting bothered me, in especially in season 3, when we started getting to those episodes when I was feeling like this episode ain't as good as those other episodes. It was a lot of episodes that were very they were just very beneath what we had gotten used to in the original series of Star Trek in season 3. The entirety of season 3 wasn't bad, but there were some bad moments down there. So everything went downhill. So his overacting always bothered me, especially in season 3 when the writing in some episodes was not as good. The story that they were trying to tell, or whatever. But yeah. Hey, Thomas. Reinhardt says, Tasha, let them people get mad. What did you tell me? Don't let the haters bring you down, because they're always mad about something. Yeah, I find it hilarious. Why y'all mad at that man or that Vulcan? Why are you mad at the Vulcan for doing what comes natural to anyone, except for me, except for this chick? Oh gosh. Why are y'all getting mad at him? It's not his fault, that the women love. The women love Spock. So yeah, I just think that as far as the Ponfar part of it, hopefully he's watching somebody else's ceremony, or how old is Spock? How many years has he been alive? Because every 7 years you go through this. But how did he cope with going through this all of these years without getting him and T'Pring getting married? Because he's got to be what? How old is Spock when he enters? When him and Pike start working together? How old is he? If he's 40, because the Vulcan thing, they age differently. So if he's 40 years old, that means he's been through the Ponfar at least. Okay, let's say he starts going through Ponfar. I'll push it all the way off to 21. He's been through it, damn it, 3 times already. So how is he dealing with the Ponfar if he's in his 40s? How is he getting over it? You got to do something. So is he somewhere where it doesn't have to be your wife? Because we saw B'Elanna Torres kind of go through it, right? Did she smash? Did she do it when she was going through the Ponfar? No, it wasn't her. When that one Vulcan guy on Voyager, when he was going through the Ponfar and he wanted to do something with B'Elanna, did he end up doing it with anybody? I can't remember. I don't know if that says. The Taxi is still not as bad as them. The Taxi. I don't know what Taxi we talking about. The Taxi is still not as bad as them being upset because they got a black lady with a lightsaber in the new Obi-Wan show. Where I need to remind you, though, we ain't talking about nothing was Star Trek today. Nothing. Some of the stuff that you say, Reinhardt, I am not getting. You said Yabak Yabak is just a regular eggs. He's about the same age as Kurt. Because your memory, his mom's human. Oh, completely ignore it. Now, Thomas said he tried. What the fuck am I? Is it just me? He tried, but he purchased emotions by getting angry in combat. Yeah, I know he was trying to get her, to get her in the mood. And I guess with a Klingon, it requires some violence. I don't know, but but um yeah, it's just weird to me that they go in this far route. I know I'm staying on it for too long, and I'm gonna move on from about the far. That's the only thing that I think I didn't particularly like. I'm like, why? Why are we doing this far-ish? Anyway, Reinhardt said, when Spock entered Starfleet Academy, he was about the same age as most other cadets. Remember, his mother, Amanda, is human. Yeah, but he also lived to be what? Damn near 200 years old. We can have it both ways. Is he older than them because they age differently? Because I mean, like, okay, we can look him up. Let me see what they say on what's the name of it? On not Wikipedia, the wiki. Because I like just knowing, I guess. So we're gonna look Spock up because I want to know if they have his age even when he entered the academy. Let's see. Let's see. And then every time I get on this site, gosh, is it like really things move this badly on this site? Shucks. Because of all these ads that they're trying to push through as soon as you freaking get on the thing. See, I knew there was a reason why I love Spock. He's a Capricorn like me. His birthday is January 6th, 2230. So let's see what his Starfleet career looks like. Spock was one of the first Vulcan cadets at Starfleet Academy. During his time there, Spock had Anafua for fundamentals of quantum stochastics and several other advanced courses. He was commissioned as a Starfleet officer in 2250. 2250 would have been how old? How old did we agree that he was when his birthday? So 2250, he was born in 2230. That would have made him 20 years old in the academy. Now, I'm trying to see when he 2254, he was serving under under Pike. 2254. That makes him 24 years old. Searching for the Red Angel in 2257. That made him 27 years old. Wait a minute. Yeah, I guess that makes sense, right? That makes sense. 2258. He was 28 years old by the time uh, Spock met Layla Kalomi. Although she declared a love for Spock, his Vulcan control prevented him from reciprocating until 2267. So by this time, Spock was 37 years old. And by the time he got to Kirk, Spock was 45 years old. Yeah, so by the time Spock got to serve under Kirk, he was 45 years old. Now, I don't know how old Kirk was. So we could take a look at that and see how old Kirk was when him and Spock got together. James T. Kirk. Okay. Going to James T. Kirk was born in 2233. So he already started off 13 years younger than, so he's younger. Does that answer the question? Hell, I done went the long way. But that answers the question, right? He was 13 years younger. So they're not the same age. And by the time, and I didn't look at it to see yeah, by the time Kirk gets on the Enterprise, his service through the 50s and 60s was rewarded with a rapid rise through the ranks. By 2265, at the age of 32, Kirk assumed command of the Enterprise. So that's that. He is definitely older. Well, Spock is definitely older than Kirk, but it probably equates to the same age because of the different way that Vulcans age. The fact that they have a longer lifespan, yeah, might make things a little different for him. And it also means that if he was 40 something years old, he was 45, right? Is that what we came up with? If he was 45 years old, and let's just say Ponfar starts at the 20-year-old mark, we're talking about him going on. It's almost getting to the point where he going to his fourth time of going through the Ponfar. And if that is the case, then what did he do the first 3 times before the time we saw him on the Enterprise with Supreme? If you understand what I'm asking, if you're getting the question. Unless, because we did see Dr. Mbanga doing something to Spock. What was he doing to him? He was putting some kind of sea urchin eggs. He was doing something, ground sea urchin. He was putting that on Spock's face. Could Dr. Mbanga have held like some type of, but then you would have thought that if he had some kind of way of treating the Ponfar symptoms, that he would have introduced that to Starfleet Medical, and that would have been passed on to assist with future Vulcans when they were on, when they were going through the Ponfar. If Mbanga had already treated Spock, you would think that McCoy would have known how to treat Spock. Am I making too much out of this? Have I gone on long enough about Spock and his Ponfar isms? Because if that's the case, if we can agree that I've talked enough about Spock and whether or not Spock has sex, if we can agree that I've talked long enough about that, let's go back to some Picard talk for just a minute. What are we looking for this week? We know that we're getting this heist. It kind of reminded me of some uh, episode that we've seen in Star Trek in the past, as far as like that Julian Bashir episode, Dr. Bashir, I presume. It kind of reminded me of that just a little bit, where they get to do the heist thing. They get to be, and not even a Dr. Bashir, I presume. What was the name of the one with everybody? Cisco was in the holodeck and they were all doing different parts. So I forgot what they were trying to achieve. But yeah, I don't remember what they were trying to get to. But I do remember that they had that episode that was kind of like the heist episode of Deep Space Nine. And this episode of Picard that we're going into kind of reminds me of that, just from the previews and things that we've seen so far. We see in those previews in this trailer that was released, and now spoiler alert, I'm about to talk about a trailer that is covering this week's episode. So no, not the Pale Moonlight. The Pale Moonlight was the one. That's one of my favorite. Baby, that's one of my favorite Deep Space Nine episodes, because you see a side of Cisco that you didn't know was available. Like, that to me showed that Cisco is ready, willing, and able to do whatever to preserve the ideals of the Federation, even if that means killing somebody. I loved it. I love that episode. So no, I don't know what the name of the episode was. Not in the Pale Moonlight. It's the one where Fontaine was helping him. That's the one I'm talking about. Yeah. Yeah. That one episode that you're talking about, Reinhardt, was the one he was like, I can live. He was like, he can live with the decisions that he made that caused people to die, but it got the Romulans to enter the Dominion War. He like, I can live with that. And that made me look at Cisco like, you are not like the other captains. You're not trying to be all perfect. And, sometimes you have to do, I'm not saying I would do it, but sometimes he felt like you would have to do something bad to get the end result that would be good. I love that episode. The one that I'm talking about, Clarence, is the one where Vic Fontaine was helping them. Yeah, I don't remember the name of it. Oh gosh, but it was like one of my favorite. Bada bing, bada bing, bada bang, bada bing, bada bing. I don't know. Yeah, it was that one. I'm gonna step over. How long have I been on here? Okay, I got about 20 minutes left in me. I'm sorry I didn't say anything. I just got up, but I was looking for something and I can't find it. Oh gosh. So Clarence says, was Pike on Romulus in the trailer, or was that Vulcan? I thought it was Vulcan, but the stuff don't stand out to me as much, where I recognize these destinations all the time. The same way I tell you I don't recognize ships all the time. Those little details, they just buzz right past me. I do appreciate, like, when we're there, I appreciate the work and the effort that they put into making these planets alive. But I sometimes I can't tell what is who and who is what. Reinhardt said it's definitely Vulcan. I guess that's supposed to be Vulcan. You said it's definitely broken, but I don't think that's what you're trying to say, right? Remember, they don't even know what Romulans look like at this point. Right. It should not have been Romulus. So what are we talking about? Well, did I bring up Romulans? I was talking about Deep Space Nine when I brought up the Romulans. I was talking about the one episode the one episode where Cisco was trying to get the Romulans to enter the Dominion War, and that was the one for In the Pale Moonlight. That was what I was talking about when I said Romulans. If you guys can excuse me for just a moment, I'm going to take a little teensy weensy, itsy bitsy, teeny weeny, tiny break, just for a second, because I have to run to the washroom and find what I was looking for a little bit ago. But okay, so. And then I'm gonna come back and pick up comments. Oh gosh. Okay, I'm back. Oh gosh. Let's see. Reinhardt said, that's why I really enjoyed the episode on Enterprise. Oops, I put too much lotion. Oh, Enterprise, where we see the Romulans, but the people in Starfleet don't ever see them until the episode Balance of Terror. Yeah. Yeah. They had no idea who the Romulans were. Right. You was thinking back to the trailer, Clarence. Ooh, dude, that's a good question. What did Reinhardt say? Do you think that they will discuss the Klingons, because there is going to be a market difference? They're gonna have to, aren't they? Wouldn't they? Wouldn't they have to? Thomas said yes. Clarence says, I hope so. And we might even see L'Rell and Volk. Yep, that is. Does Volk look like Volk though? Is Volk still the cute one? What was gosh, what was his other name? His alternate name, his human name. And what kind of lotion is this? I don't like this lotion. It came from some hotel. I didn't go to the hotel. There was some shit that Quinn and them. But yeah, I don't like that lotion. Now I gotta find something else to put on my hands because I don't like the way that even felt. Ash Tyler. Yeah, that was his name. Okay. This is more like it. I don't know why I didn't just use my own stuff in the first place. Why I got to be stealing from the kids. Ash Tyler. Yeah. He I mean, because this is a way, Strange New Worlds, if they wanted to make the Section 31 show jump off from that era, that's how they could do it. And of course, with Ash Tyler and Emperor Giorgio, or Giorgio, um, they could jump off from Strange New Worlds into a new series. Now, my question is, number one, are they still planning on doing that? I know that they've said it, but it doesn't, you know, it ain't set in stone. They haven't started recording or anything like that, right? So, do we get this final season of Star Trek Picard? And in order for us to get Star Trek all year round, they have to introduce another series, right? So would that be the next series, or do you think we'll be getting the Starfleet Academy series? Do we think we're getting a spinoff of from Raffi and Seven? We would get that series. Will the Picard series, even though Picard will not be the central character, will those characters move on in a different series? So it will still be this, everybody except for Patrick Stewart. Do we think everybody is going to come back and continue the stories of this group of people in Picard? But it won't be Picard, it'll be something else. Let's see what people say. I see Clarence got something over here. Said after Yo's new movie, they won't be able to afford her. Yeah, hopefully they got her name on that dotted line already. If they talking about doing this series and they've been talking about it for some years, hopefully they've already got her signed on. Because I've heard nothing but good things about her movie, and I'm looking very forward to seeing it. And if you've seen it already without any spoilers, just tell me that you saw it and whether it was a yay or a nay for you if you've seen Michelle Yeoh's new movie, that multiverse movie that I kind of like. I liked the precedent before before I even saw a trailer. When I talked about it a long time ago on my entertainment news show, and they gave us kind of a synopsis of it. And let me tell you, just reading what they said the movie was going to be about, I was like, I'm in. I'm in because it's Michelle Yeoh, but I'm really in because of the description. I like time travel stuff. Clarence hasn't seen it yet, but he's only heard good things as well. Yeah, I've heard nothing but good things, and I'm looking forward to seeing it. I don't know. I don't even know if it, because it's a A24, which I've been talking about that studio quite a bit on the weekly wrap up and the midweek meltdown. They're coming out with a lot of good things over there at A24, and it's always on bordering on the weird. Yeah, the A24 thing had me, and then Michelle Yeoh had me, but then the premise of this thing really is sold it for me. Hopefully it's as good as they bill it to be. But if we're getting that Section 31, her name will be already on a dotted line somewhere or digital signature. And we will get to see, we'll still get her in a series. Because, yeah, she's going to be out of reach in a minute. It's going to be astronomical. And even if we don't get Michelle Yeoh, even though I think the show would be fundamentally changed if we don't get Michelle Yeoh, But if we don't get Michelle Yeoh and we find a way to make it we find a way to still make it as entertaining, because she brings it. So if we can make it just as entertaining without Michelle Yeoh, I could get on board. I am looking forward to I'm looking forward to seeing what she got next. All right, Reinhardt, we'll see you. Talking about get up at 4 a.m. I would have been in bed 3 hours ago, boy. Talking about 4 a.m. So yes, thanks for stopping by, and we will see you in the next stream, sir. Yes, this is what I was going after. One thing about not smoking cigarettes and smoking this thing is I can do it anywhere. But yeah, I'm trying to quit before July, because baby will be here in August. Not my baby. I'm not pregnant. I got a grandbaby on the way. And that baby will be here in August, and I want to be through with cigarettes. This is helping me kind of. It's still nicotine, and it don't stink, and I'm not hitting it as much as I would have if I was smoking cigarettes. Put it like that. But yeah, unfortunately, that's a habit I got, and I am trying to shake it. And like right in the middle of trying to shake this habit, the smoking, I lost that contact. And it don't take very much to push me over the edge as far as my anxiety goes, and everything from there went downhill. I had already made up my mind. I was like, I'm going home. My little niece is having surgery. She's got 13 years old, got cataracts on her, both of her eyes, right? So they've already done one surgery in taking the cataract off of one eye. But I was like, well, it'll be cool if I could go home and be the one that'll sit with her when she has the surgery with on the other eye. This is just, I got to be around my babies. I could not convince myself to leave the house to get on the plane. So much happened with airplanes over the weekend to where I talked myself into not going, right? So that is also lending to the anxiety. Like, I got a graduation. My nephew is graduating from high school in June. And I'm like, if I can't do it now, how am I going to be able to do it in June? So now I've given myself that to be anxious about. And those kinds of things, they debilitate me. I start thinking and I never stop. It just don't turn off. I come up with one more problem or one more roadblock or one more obstacle. I do that to myself. So that is where I was for like 2 weeks. I was in the bed like freaking catatonic because I'm so scared. See, and then you about to tell me some other shit. Lysandra said, did I see what happened in Texas on an airplane? No, but I don't think you should tell me about it either, because I'm going to ruminate. I've already got other stuff to ruminate about. Like, as far as like the other day, yesterday, one of the airports, the runway lights went off. They couldn't land any planes. They couldn't, no planes could take off. No planes could land. I do not want to know any other bad news about what happened on these planes because I'm not going to get on the plane in June. And I need to unplug from all the news and everything about these airplanes. They keep sending it to my freaking phone too. They almost as bad as the text messages as I'm getting the news about airplanes. So anyway, I said all that. I said all of that to say, again, this is why I was MIA for a little while, because I was in my own head for damn near 2 weeks. 2 weeks of just living in my own head. And it's never good when I do it, right? I'm looking forward again to all of our Star Trek-ish and just moving on. instead of just being, I don't want to, I want something to make me hopeful again. And then Star Trek always does it. So I'm looking forward to I'm looking forward to some new Trek, especially Strange New Worlds, May 5th, 2022. And what else? And the end of Picard. I know y'all looking forward to it too. So what I'm going to do is end the stream because it has been so much fun. Though I've talked for 2 hours about Star Trek, and I could talk for 2 more. I don't want to bore you guys with me and my Star Trek stuff. Y'all will be in the bed, sleep, and I will still be up thinking about Star Trek, watching Star Trek. It'll be something. It'll be something. So yeah, don't tell me nothing, Bun. I don't want to hear about it. I'm gonna call you in a minute, girl. But other than that, I've got nothing else. It's been fun. Let me know if you got your own theories. Don't forget to listen to the Discussing Trek episode wherever podcasts are served. And the name of it is Discussing. Let me say that. Let me say it with my chest. Put the emphasis on the ing. We're discussing Trek wherever podcasts are served. My friend, my pod brother is one of the hosts, and they always roll out the red carpet for me to talk about some Trek. So watch that or listen to that so that you will know some of the theories and thoughts that we had. But then you tell me your theories or thoughts. You can do that in the comments if you're watching it on the rebroadcast. You can also send me an email. It's let me pull up the banner so you'll know where you can send your emails to, or you can join the Discord. And the link to the Discord is in the trailer, and I have set that trailer up. It's in the trailer. The link to the Discord is in the chat. God. The link to the Discord is in the chat, and I've set it up so that link won't expire on your butts. So you guys can come and just tell me what you think. Maybe I'll share, what you guys come up with as far as theories on another Star Trek talk. Oh, and you know what? Before I go, Thomas, I don't know if you had heard this, but they're going to be on Pluto TV. They're going to have 24/7 Stargate. 24/7. I don't know when they're rolling this thing out, but I will be back here tomorrow along with Davina. It's been a while since you guys seen her, right? I'll be back here tomorrow with Davina to do the midweek meltdown, and I'll have more information about that Pluto TV Stargate channel that they're coming up with. 24/7 Stargate. I knew that there was at least one person who would be happy to hear that, and that is Thomas. So join me tomorrow, 6 p.m. Central Time, where we will talk all of our entertainment news. And don't bring no Will Smith stuff. I'm tired of Will. Now, if y'all got a question, a comment, a concern, that's one thing. Oh, you got them all on DVDs, Thomas. You got a question, comment, or concern about the Will Smith thing, but I'm not about to rehash that situation. So don't talk to me about no damn Will Smith tomorrow. I'm not trying to hear it. We can talk about anything except for Will Smith. I do not want to talk about him. So yeah. So with all that being said, I appreciate you guys. Thanks for being here, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.